Israel-Hamas war analysis and future outlook. Welcome to today's deep dive into the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas. We'll explore the origins, current status, and future outlook of this complex and tragic war. Let's get started. Historical context and causes. The latest round of violence between Israel and Hamas began on October 7, 2023, when Hamas launched an unprecedented and coordinated attack on Israel. This attack resulted in over 1,200 Israeli casualties and 150 hostages. Israel responded with massive airstrikes on Gaza, causing significant Palestinian casualties and destruction. Several factors contributed to this conflict. Israeli policies. The far-right Israeli government's policies, particularly the expansion of settlements in the West Bank and violence against Palestinians, have fueled anger and resentment. The internal political turmoil in Israel, with the far-right coalition pushing for judicial reforms, has also provided an opportunity for Hamas to exploit Arab-Israeli normalization. Recent normalization efforts between Arab countries and Israel, including discussions of normalization with Saudi Arabia, have threatened Hamas's position and diminished the focus on the Palestinian cause. Iranian support. Hamas has strengthened its ties with Iran, receiving financial and military support, which has emboldened the group to undertake large-scale operations. Current situation. The conflict has led to a severe humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Over 10,000 Palestinians have been killed, and there are widespread shortages of food, water, and medical supplies. Israel has mobilized 360,000 army reserves and launched a ground invasion into Gaza. International reactions have varied. The United States has deployed 2 carrier strike groups to the eastern Mediterranean to deter further escalation. Meanwhile, Russia and China have criticized Israel's actions and called for an immediate ceasefire within Israel. There has been significant backlash against the government's handling of the situation. Large-scale protests against Prime Minister Netanyahu's policies have emerged, and some military reservists have refused to serve. International reactions and diplomatic efforts. The international community has been actively involved in attempting to mediate and resolve the conflict. United Nations. The UN Security Council has called for an immediate ceasefire, although differences among member states have prevented a unified response. Qatar's mediation. Qatar has successfully brokered a temporary ceasefire, facilitating the exchange of hostages between Hamas and Israel, and allowing humanitarian aid into Gaza. Saudi Arabia's position. Saudi Arabia has condemned the violence while expressing support for the Palestinian people, not Hamas specifically. Saudi Prince Turki Al-Faisal criticized Hamas's killing of Israeli civilians as contrary to Islamic teachings. Impact of a prolonged war. If the war drags on, it could have significant regional and global impacts. Regional instability. Prolonged conflict could further destabilize the Middle East. Groups like Hezbollah, backed by Iran, might escalate their involvement, increasing tensions in Lebanon and Syria. Although Iran faces internal political and economic challenges, it is likely to continue supporting Hamas' global economic impact. Instability in the Middle East can directly affect global energy markets. Disruptions in oil production and transportation could lead to higher international oil prices, negatively impacting the global economy. Humanitarian crisis. A prolonged war would exacerbate the humanitarian crisis not only in Gaza but also in the West Bank and neighboring countries, increasing the number of refugees and the need for humanitarian assistance. International relations. Extended conflict could alter international alliances. While the U.S.-Israel relationship may strengthen, criticism from the European Union and some Arab countries might intensify, creating new diplomatic rifts. The Israel-Hamas war is a deeply complex conflict with significant humanitarian, political, and regional implications. As the situation evolves, effective diplomacy and humanitarian aid become ever more critical. If the war prolongs, it could lead to increased regional instability, global economic impacts, a worsening humanitarian crisis, and shifts in international relations. The international community must intensify diplomatic efforts to resolve this conflict. Thank you for joining us today. For more in-depth analysis and updates, please like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.